Hello, everybody. House of Champions special with me, Jonathan Johnson, and I'm delighted to say that I'm joined today by Toulouse president, Damien Comolli. First of all, Damien, thank you very much for joining the show. How are you doing this morning? Fantastic victory for the team last night.
Well, first of all, you're very welcome and good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me. It was a great performance, a great win, playing our now well-known style of football, which is very attacking and expansive type of football. We fans left the stadium very happy, which makes me very happy.
And you must be quite satisfied as well with Toulouse's season so far. Obviously, now back in Ligue 1 after a couple of years in Ligue 2. How would you judge the way that the season is going so far?
There is a lot of good things going on, and there is other things that are more frustrating, I will say. What has been very positive is where we stand currently in the tables. I was just mentioning our style of play as well. I think we are clearly identified around European football and probably beyond as well. Because when we try to recruit players from South America or from US, for instance, people are telling us that they like our style of play. So that's very positive. Two negative aspects, I would say. I'm not sure if negative is the right word, but to a frustrating aspect, I will say, to our season so far has been one: we haven't been able to challenge the top clubs, the top 6, top 7. We got only 1 point out of all those games so far, away at Lyon. So we have to do better at that. And then our aim for the second part of the season is to be better at that. And then the second point, which is a bit of a frustration, is the fact we lost a lot of points at home. Especially we were leading in the games against good teams such as Lorient, Nice, and other teams such as Strasbourg, for instance, or Brest, where we drew the other week. So that's a bit of a frustration, because without me thinking that we would have won all those games, but only if we would have won maybe 2 or 3 of all those games where we drew at home, we'll be even in a better position in the league. So we look at the glass half full, definitely. But at the same time, we know we still have room for improvement, and that's very exciting for the second part of the season. Obviously, there's the cup game as well, the French Cup, where we are going to play Reims at home next week, midweek. The games come fast and thick in this time of the year. We play every 3 days, which is great. That's where we want to be. The position we want to be in is to compete and to play as many games as possible. Yeah, so that's a quick summary of our season, I will say.
Yeah, and speaking of being where you want to be at this moment in time, you're unbeaten at the start of 2023. That must be a source of great satisfaction as well.
Yeah, it is, especially recovering. So the break before the World Cup, we had an extremely difficult run of fixtures. We played Lyon away, Lille away, Rennes away, Lens away, and Monaco at home. So they were tough. And we didn't get, as I said, a lot of points out of this. And then the first game back after the World Cup, we played Marseille away, which was never going to be a stroll in the park. And we got beaten badly. And to come back after that game, we had only 66 hours between 2 league games, which was the shortest recovery time, if we can call it recovery, between 2 games of all the Ligue 1 clubs. And then straight after Marseille, where we lost 6-1 away, we were playing Ajaccio on Sunday afternoon, and we produced what was so far at the time our best performance of the season. And that was on the 1st of January, so that was really the start of 23, actually. So coming back from that defeat in Marseille, and then getting 13 points out of 15 possible points after that throughout the month of January until last night was big for us. Because we are never really happy, totally happy, but we do. Ideally, we should have done 15 out of 15 by beating Brest at home last Sunday, but the Sunday before, sorry. But other than that, yeah, we are happy to be in the place we are in, and we are scoring a lot of goals as well. We had 2 cup games in between where we scored 10 goals as well in total. So we are happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, positive time around the club since the turn of the year. Speaking of the turn of the year, January is always a busy time with the transfer window. Is there a sense of accomplishment around the club for the players that you've managed to bring in, the business that you've been able to do this winter window?
Yeah, we are very pleased with what we've done. We had to solve a couple of issues coming into this window. First of all, we had long-term injuries. So we had 2 players out for 3 months at midfield. We had our starting fullback, who was elected in the team of the season last year in League 2, out for 3 months as well. And then we had our starting left back who did let us know in December that he had to leave the club for personal reasons. So then we had to solve those issues. So we went out and got a right back to solve our injury crisis right back, and our backup right back as well was out for 6 or 8 weeks. So we did that by signing Kamanzi, the Norwegian under-21 player. Our left back, we signed Gabi Suazo. He's an amazing signing for us. He was the captain of Colo Colo and he's the starting left back for Chile. And then we signed a midfield player to solve our injury crisis issue at midfield as well, in just Vincent Siro from Young Boys Bern. And then we were preparing for the future. We looked at strikers, the market. We approached the strikers market as a market of opportunities, because for us, we are a small club in a big city, but still a small club that is trying to grow bigger. And we are at the bottom of the food chain. So once everybody on top of us has eaten, then we look at what's left. And the most difficult situation for us to deal with is the strikers, because they are rarity, on the market, the good ones, and they are very, very expensive. So we enter into this market thinking if there is an opportunity for us on the striker front that can help us this season and be a regular player in the future, we should do it. And we signed a player from Poland, Amulic. Said Amulic was got an I was about to say extraordinary, is probably too strong of a word, but who has got great potential in terms of physicality, ability to finish, mobility, etc., etc. So we killed a kind of 2 birds with 1 stone. We're preparing for the future, but also solving issues that we had currently. And then we moved some players out on loan as well, players that we believe in for the future and they need to play more for their development. So all in, it was we got 2 players that a club like us probably should not get in Suazo and Siro. We took the advantage of the fact that one was free and the other one was very close to being free. He had only 5 months left of this contract. And then we invested on young players as well, which we like to do. So we got the right mix, I think, of what in our approach.
Yeah, and listening to you talking about the challenges faced in the transfer window as well, Toulouse, since the takeover, since your arrival at the club, people have started talking about Toulouse as a club that's very data-driven and sort of at the forefront of the use of data intelligently when making transfer decisions. What would you have to sort of say about the club's use of data in its scouting and recruitment of players?
Well, we are exclusively, I would say almost exclusively data-driven in our processes. Whether we recruit a player, whether we recruit a coach, whether we analyze the opposition or we analyze our own team and our own players, whether we make a decision to extend a player's contract or not, or to sell a player or not, and for how much, we are extremely data-driven. Redbird Capital Partners, who are our main shareholders and owners, have acquired a company called Zelus Analytics, which is based in the US and works in US sports as well. And we are lucky to have access to their services through Redbird, through what we call Redbird FC. So we use we use the knowledge of the people at Zelus Analytics, plus all the data that they make available to us, I will say, on a daily basis. And a big part of that is in terms of recruitment. We try to find deficiencies on the market using data. For us to get a player like Gabi Suazo, who is was the captain of Colo Colo and is starting left back of Chile, is what I think without the data it would be totally unthinkable to get that access to that type of player. And in a way, it's the same thing for most of the transfer businesses we've done since we bought the club 3 years ago. And I think that's why we are overperforming related to expenditure and related to wage bill. I think we are the 16th or 17th wage bill in the league, and we are only a couple of points from 7th place. So that has allowed us to work differently, to be very innovative in our approach, but we're also extremely disciplined in our approach. So we do have data, at the tip of our finger that we can use, but we've been very, very disciplined in the way we approach it as well. So far it's proven to be a positive thing.
Like you said, it's now been 3 years of the project in Toulouse. How would you feel, the club has developed under your watch since 2020?
Cool. That's a very interesting question, but I'm not sure I have enough of a day to answer that question, but I'll do my very best. Look, it became very clear to me when I joined the club that there was one thing we needed to do is reconnect the football club to its community. There was clearly a breakdown in communication with the fans, with all stakeholders, part of the TFC and what I call the Viola community, as you can see behind me. The purple color is a very strong part, is very strong in our identity as a football club and as a city as well. So we developed this. We got it very clear from the first day that we needed to reconnect with our fan base, with our community, with our sponsors, media, everyone who does and make the club on a day-to-day, and the city as well. And I think we managed to do that. We've almost tripled our revenues over the last 3 years. Even in League 2, we doubled the revenue compared to the last year in League 1 before we bought the club. And then we went from roughly 7,000 people buying a ticket per game to 24,000 this season. We went from 3,000 or 4,000 season ticket holders to 13,500, 5% of women to 18% of women being season ticket holders as well. So if there is one thing we are very proud to have achieved is to reconnect, fill the stadium again, which is a great venue, and then redevelop that relationship between the fan base, the community, and the club.
And, does it feel rewarding to hear people talking about Toulouse as perhaps the modern club at this moment in time? Because it's not just sort of what you've managed to do in reconnecting the club with the community, using data in your approach to transfers. There's other stuff as well. I mean, for example, there was a lot of talk in the French press recently about the fact that I think Toulouse are the only club across the professional leagues in France to have female representation on the recruitment panel, for example. That sort of modern approach to thinking, does it feel rewarding for the work that you've done and the decisions that you've made as a club, to have that kind of recognition?
To be honest, we don't have time to listen to what people are saying, good or bad. So we just go, our way and do what we think is right. Obviously, if people talk positively about us and about Toulouse FC and about Redbird Capital Partners, then it's great. But I think we've got so much ambition for this football club where we think we can take it over the next 3 or 4 years that we don't really look back. Actually, we keep going forward. we try to define ourselves as a as a different club. I think we are different, and part of our difference comes from being very innovative. So having the first female working into a professional scouting staff in France, she didn't get the job because she's a female. She got the job because she's extremely good at what she does. She knows football very well. She's very bright, and we think she's a leader of tomorrow in this football club as well, potentially. And all of our approach is how could we develop our non-playing staff? How can we be innovative? How can we get an edge how can we get an edge and a competitive advantage over the opposition? You know, when you have less money, you have to be more astute, I will say, because if we were to do the same thing than the other club but with less resources, there's only, you know, it's a car crash in the making. So that's why we decided to have a different approach to what we do. And we are constantly, I think, to summarize our state of mind, I will say, is that we are constantly trying to find competitive advantage in everything we do. You know, for the last 3 years, we've had the highest rate of players availability per game with Monaco. So the first year, which means an extremely low amount of soft tissue injuries, our player availability per game is about 94%. And the first year, people were saying, okay, it's luck. The second year, maybe it's not that much luck. And the third year, we say, well, it's definitely not luck. We must be doing something right. Plus helped by the fact that we have a very young squad, and by definition, young players don't get injured very often. So that's where, you know, we have this state of mind where we constantly try to create competitive advantage and find a new thing that's going to help us improve and innovate and being different, etc., etc. So yeah, that's how I'll summarize how we work on a I was about to say on a daily basis, is more on an hourly basis.
It's fascinating, though, getting a look behind the curtain at a top flight club like Toulouse. Final question. Big match this weekend, going to the capital to face PSG. You know, is this the kind of games that you know, you look forward to as a club president, or is it just another match in Ligue?
To be perfectly honest with you, it's just another match. We brought Toulouse FC back to the table to the place where it belonged, which is Ligue 1, and playing against those big teams into those big stadiums. The normality was to have Toulouse in Ligue 2. So we're back to normal. We are very happy to go to Paris Saint-Germain on Saturday, like we were happy to go to Marseille on the 29th of December 22. It's just part of, I was about to say, it's part of the job, but we belong in this league. We are proving, you know, week in, week out, that we belong in this league. And we will go there and, you know, being as ambitious as we can and keep our playing style, attacking. And we want to have zero regret at the end of every game, not only when we play against Paris Saint-Germain on Saturday. And then it's Marseille, and then it's Rennes at home, and then it's Marseille at home. They're all big games, and it's great. We really enjoy the ride.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Comolli. Delighted to say that House of Champions, we've been blessed with talking with Toulouse President Damien Comolli this morning. So thank you once again, and best of luck for the match this weekend and for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.